My fiancé's brother told me quietly, she's not sure about you, but if you buy her the ring she really wants, she'll go through with it. I just smiled. The next day, the venue called her, explaining why the deposit in her name was gone. You ever have a conversation so quiet that it feels like a bomb went off? That was me last Saturday night, standing on my fiancé's parents' back patio. The bomb was a few whispered sentences from her brother, and the shrapnel is still landing. Here's the situation. I'm Jack, 36. I own a couple of restaurants. It's a tough business, but I've done well for myself. My fiancée, Anna, is 29. We've been together for 3 years, engaged for the last 6 months. She's beautiful, charming, and comes from a family where money is old, and appearances are everything. I'm a self-made guy. My money is new. Her family has always treated me with a kind of polite curiosity, like I'm a well-behaved dog who somehow learned to do math. The engagement was a whole production. I proposed with a ring I thought was incredible, classic, elegant, a beautiful diamond. She said yes. But a few weeks later, she came to me with a sad face and a whole speech. Her friends, her mother, they all thought the ring wasn't quite her. She said she felt terrible about it, but she couldn't stop thinking about this other ring she had seen. A much more modern and coincidentally much more expensive design from some high-end designer. The way she described it, you'd think it was the key to eternal happiness. I'm not a complete idiot. I knew what was happening. It was a test, a financial and social hurdle she was setting up for me, but I loved her. And I convinced myself that making her happy was the most important thing. So, I agreed. I told her we'd get the other ring, but it would take some time to move things around financially. I was in the middle of opening a new location and my cash was tied up. She pouted but eventually agreed. The wedding planning, however, went full steam ahead, funded mostly by me. We booked a ridiculously expensive venue, a historic vineyard that her mother insisted on. Every decision came with a price tag that seemed designed to test my limits. Which brings us to last Saturday. We were at her parents' house for their anniversary dinner. The whole family was there. The entire evening was a subtle performance of their wealth and my status as an outsider. Her father spent 20 minutes talking about his latest yachting trip. Her mother critiqued the wine I brought, a bottle that cost $200 as a decent table wine. After dinner, I was on the patio when her older brother Daniel came out to join me. He's a finance guy, wears a suit better than I do, and has always had this smarmy superior vibe. He's the kind of guy who calls everyone man but makes it sound like an insult. He made some small talk, asked about my new restaurant in a way that implied he expected it to fail. Then he got quiet for a second, looking out over their perfectly manicured lawn. He leaned in, his voice low and conspiratorial. "Look, Jack," he said, like he was doing me a huge favor. "I'm telling you this because I want to see my sister happy. And between us, she's not really sure about you." I just looked at him. My whole body went cold. It wasn't a shock, more like a confirmation of a deep sinking feeling I'd been ignoring for months. "She thinks you're a good guy," he continued, not meeting my eyes. "But she's used to a certain lifestyle. She has options, you know, guys she grew up with. The ring is a big deal to her. It's a symbol. It shows you're serious, that you can provide for her in the way she deserves. To be honest, if you buy her the ring she really wants, the one she's been showing everyone pictures of, she'll go through with it. She'll be happy. It'll smooth everything over." He patted me on the shoulder, a condescending little gesture. "Just think about it, man. It's a small price to pay for a lifetime of happiness, right? Consider it an investment in your future." I didn't say anything. I just smiled, a tight, empty smile. I nodded like I was taking his disgusting transactional advice to heart. He gave me a satisfied smirk and went back inside, leaving me standing there in the dark. She'll go through with it. It wasn't a marriage proposal. It was a business negotiation. And the final term was a bribe, a diamond bribe to get her to the altar. The hurt was there, but it was quickly consumed by a feeling of absolute liberating rage. I went back inside and played the part of the beautiful fiancée for the rest of the night. I laughed at her father's bad jokes. I complimented her mother's dessert. I gave Anna a kiss goodnight and told her I loved her. She had no idea she was talking to a man who was already plotting the complete and total demolition of the life she thought she had secured. She thought she was a princess in a castle. She had no idea the man who built the castle was about to pull the foundation out from under it. Update 1. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay in bed next to her listening to her breathe. And my mind was a whirlwind of cold, hard logistics. This wasn't going to be an emotional, messy breakup. This was going to be a corporate restructuring. Her position in my life had been made redundant. The first thing I did on Sunday morning was make a call. The final massive payment for the Vineyard venue was due on Monday. I had a wire transfer scheduled. I called my bank's 24-hour business line. I got a helpful guy named Mark. I told him I needed to cancel a scheduled wire transfer. I gave him the details. He confirmed the cancellation. It was a simple 5-minute conversation that would set the entire avalanche in motion. Next, the ring. She wanted a symbol. Fine. I was going to give her one. I spent Sunday morning online, not looking at diamonds, but at classic cars. It was something I had always wanted, a vintage muscle car, a piece of pure, unapologetic American steel, something her family would find horrifyingly distasteful. I found a beautifully restored 1969 Camaro in a town a few hours away. I called the seller, negotiated a price over the phone, and arranged to come and see it on Monday. The price was almost exactly what her dream ring was going to cost. Then I dealt with her presence in my house. Anna didn't just live with me. She had colonized my space with her things, her clothes, her furniture, her art. I wanted it all gone. But I wasn't just going to throw it out. That was too simple. I wanted to send a message. I hired a moving company for Monday morning, a high-end one that specialized in careful packing. Their destination, not a storage unit. Their destination was her brother Daniel's house. He was the one who delivered the message. He could deal with the fallout. I found his address online and I gave it to the moving company. A surprise for his sister. I told them it's a gift. Bill the entire job to my account. Monday morning was a blur of activity. While Anna was at her part-time job at an art gallery, a job her parents had gotten her, the movers arrived. They were incredible. In 3 hours, every trace of her was gone from my house. They packed it all set from her designer dresses to her half-used bottle of shampoo. Then they loaded it onto their truck and drove away. A caravan of her former life on its way to her brother's pristine suburban doorstep. As soon as they were gone, a locksmith arrived. New locks, new security codes. My house was a fortress again. At around noon, I got in my car and drove to see the Camaro. It was even more beautiful in person. I paid the men in cash, a duffel bag full of the money that was supposed to be for her ring, and drove it home. I parked the loud, obnoxious, beautiful machine right in the driveway where she couldn't possibly miss it. The first call came at 3:15 p.m. It was the Vineyard. A frantic event manager was on the line. The final payment hadn't arrived. I played dumb. Oh, really? That's strange. You know, Anna has been handling all the communication with you guys. Her name is on the contract as the primary contact, right? The manager confirmed it was. Well, you should probably talk to her then. I said, I'm just the money guy. She's the one running the show. I hung up. I knew what would happen next. They would call her. They would tell her the $20,000 deposit she had put down on her credit card. A card I paid the bill for was about to be forfeited if the final payment of $80,000 wasn't made immediately. The fuse was lit. Update 2. The call from Anna came at 3:22 p.m. She was screaming so loudly I had to hold the phone away from my ear. Jack, what is going on? The venue just called me. They said the payment was cancelled. You told me you were handling it. I was, I said calmly. But then I received some new information that caused me to reconsider the investment. Investment? What are you talking about? This is our wedding. No, Anna, I said, my voice flat. It was a business transaction, and the terms were unacceptable. I spoke to your brother. He laid it all out for me. If I buy you the right ring, you'll go through with it. I've decided not to meet your price. There was a dead silence on the line. I could hear her struggling to process it. My brother, she stammered. Yes, he was very helpful. He clarified the nature of our relationship perfectly. So, the deal is off, the wedding is off, and you and I are finished. You're breaking up with me because of something Daniel said. He was probably joking. He wasn't joking, I said. And neither am I. Your things are no longer at my house. A moving company has delivered them to Daniel's address. Since he's so involved in our relationship, I figured he could help you with the logistics of your new life. The locks here have been changed. Don't bother coming by. Then the threats started. The legal threats. Her father would sue me. She would take me for everything I had. Go ahead, I said. Have your father's lawyers call mine. My lawyer is already aware of the situation, including your brother's attempt to solicit a bribe on your behalf. It's called extortion, Anna. Look it up. I'm sure your father's firm would love for that to become public record. I hung up and blocked her number. An hour later, I got a call from Daniel. He was trying to be intimidating. You're making a huge mistake, Jack. He said. No, Daniel, I replied. The mistake was you thinking I was as stupid as you are. By the way, your sister's entire worldly possessions should be arriving on your front lawn any minute now. Have fun with that. I hung up on him, too. As I did, my phone buzzed with a text from a friend of mine, Mark, who happens to live in Daniel's neighborhood. It was a picture. A massive moving truck was parked in front of Daniel's perfect house, and movers were unloading box after box onto his manicured lawn. In the doorway, a woman who had to be Daniel's wife was screaming at him. Mark's text just said, "Dude, what did you do?" I sent back a single laughing emoji. The rest of the evening was a storm of calls and texts from her friends and family, all of which I ignored. I just sat on my back porch, drank a beer, and admired my new car. The next day, the public relations campaign began. I was the villain. I had gotten cold feet, and in a cruel, premeditated move, had destroyed her dream wedding and thrown her out of her home. Her friends posted all sorts of nonsense about my instability. Her maid of honor, a girl named Qley, sent me a long, self-righteous text about how I had broken the heart of the most wonderful woman in the world. I saved it. I responded with a single simple action. I created a new Instagram account. I posted one picture, a beautiful professional shot of my new Camaro gleaming in the sun. The caption was, "Decided to buy myself something nice instead of a new ring. Best decision I ever made. No regrets. Freedom." I didn't tag her. I didn't have to. The message was clear. The money that was supposed to be her prize was now sitting in my driveway in the form of a V8 engine and a lot of chrome. The next day, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was her father. He wasn't yelling. His voice was cold and dangerous. He told me I had made a powerful enemy. He told me his lawyers would bury me. I let him finish. Then I said calmly, "Sir, with all due respect, the only crime here was committed by your son on behalf of your daughter. It's called extortion. If you want to make this a legal fight, I will make it a public one. I will subpoena your son, and he will have to explain under oath why he was soliciting a bribe from me. I wonder how the ethics board at his firm would feel about that. The choice is yours. You can either quietly pay for your daughter's $20,000 forfeited deposit, or you can risk your son's career and your family's reputation. Let me know what you decide." I hung up the phone. The war was over. I had just dropped the bomb. Final update. It has been 6 months. The dust has well and truly settled. I never heard from her father or his lawyers again. The divorce, or rather the annulment since we never actually made it to the altar, was quick and painless. My lawyer sent a single letter to her family along with a detailed invoice for my half of all the non-refundable wedding deposits and expenses. It totaled over $50,000. The letter also contained a gentle reminder of the potential legal and reputational consequences of a public fight over her and her brother's actions. They chose to cut their losses. I never got the money, but I never heard from them again. That was payment enough. Anna's life, from what I've heard through the grapevine, is not the fairy tale she had planned. Her relationship with her brother is apparently in shambles. His wife was furious about their home being turned into a moving depot, and the story of his involvement in the failed extortion plot apparently caused some serious issues for him at work. An anonymous tip to his firm's compliance department might have had something to do with that. He blames Anna for the drama and she blames him for opening his big stupid mouth. She had to move back in with her parents. Without me to fund her lifestyle, the life of leisure and luxury she took for granted is over. She had to get a real full-time job. Her friends, the ones who were so supportive of her transactional view of marriage, apparently scattered when they realized the money train had left the station. I saw her once a few weeks ago. I was driving the Camaro on a sunny Saturday afternoon. I was on my way to pick up my new girlfriend, a smart, funny, and wonderfully down-to-earth woman who loves my car and doesn't care what brand of watch I wear. I saw Anna on the sidewalk waiting for a bus. She looked normal and miserable. She saw the car and she saw me behind the wheel. Our eyes met for a second. I didn't honk. I didn't smirk. I just looked straight ahead and drove away. The ultimate revenge wasn't the cancelled wedding or the public humiliation. It was simply refusing to play her game. She and her family saw me as a walking, talking bank account, a means to an end. They thought my love and commitment could be bought and sold. All I did was show them that I wasn't for sale. I took the money they so desperately coveted and I bought myself something that brought me real honest joy. She wanted a ring to symbolize her status. Instead, she got a life that symbolizes the consequences of her own greed. She didn't want a husband. She wanted an acquisition. And when the deal fell through, she was left with